there's one thing I can't have enough of, it's art supplies. So getting your supplies together and arranging them simply, and start thinking about what shapes each one of these objects would be. As I'm laying the supplies out, I want to start making some observations. First of all, I want to look and see which of my supplies is the tallest. How close do I want them to be when I'm laying them out? How much space do I want in between them so that the shadows will show up pretty easily? What about the diameter of each one of the brushes or the pens? Are there some that are thicker? Which ones are shorter? Do I have them arranged the way I like them, or do I want to have a more balanced approach? Do I want them all standing up nice and straight? Or do I prefer to have some of them just leaning down one to the other? What's going to be the best way for me to arrange these so I can start my drawing? I'm using my mechanical pencil, and I'm starting out by just thinking basic shapes. The palette is two rectangles put together, and the edges are rounded. However, for the water brush and the Micron pen, I want them just to be kind of lines. For this part of the assignment, you need to start making some decisions with your ink pen in your hand. Your pencil will give you a basic idea, but since I only want you to just do real basic lines on there with pencil first, then you can start making decisions about where that line would be in a finished drawing. One of the major objectives of this activity is for you to become comfortable taking that pen in your hand and drawing with it without pencil being underneath it. Just as I mentioned earlier, look at how you compare the size of one object to the next. Also, when you're drawing something that's rounded, make sure that you're drawing a curved line on the top and not a flat line. Watch how part of the handles move in to get smaller and how they move out to get larger. Look at the clips on the side of the pen. If I'm going to break those down into some shapes, what shapes might they be? You have two longer lines, and on the very end, there's like a triangle. Also remember your spacing, because we are going to be adding shadows when we paint these. You don't have to be in a hurry. Take your time as you put down the pen on the paper and you're dragging it across the paper. Remember, this recording is sped up, so I did this much slower than what you're seeing. Look at each one of the sections on the paintbrush. Also remember about the curved lines going across to show the contour of the brush being rounded and not flat. Also, the brush is the longest thing in this arrangement of art supplies. It helps to add some of the details that you're seeing. Right now on the Micron pens, I'm putting the logo because it was kind of a simple thing, but I'm not stressing over making it look exactly what the logo looks like. I'm simplifying it into a little star shape and then filling in the corners to make those dark. I'm using a series of lines to kind of represent the smaller words that are on the pens, but the Micron is fairly large. So taking my pen, I'm going to draw and write the word Micron in all capital letters, just like it's on the pen. Look at the different pens and see how some of them are turned just a little bit more, so the words are going to be closer to the edge of the table than some of the others. I'm looking very carefully at each one of the paints that are in the container, looking at the different size, looking at the different shapes. Again, one of the major objectives for doing this is for you to observe, to see how one object is different than the others based on the shape. I'd like for you to use a water brush on this activity just because it's going to get you familiar with using that. I also keep a scrap piece of watercolor paper nearby. It helps me rinse out the brush easily, kind of wipe all the paint onto it so I can switch colors. I just took some of the paint that I had in the mixing trays and made a little bit of an area what looks like I've mixed up color. The nice thing is that you can use that leftover paint that's in the mixing trays, and I had one that was just perfect for the color of the Micron pens. Taking a little bit of blue and mixing it with that same color, I was able to come up with a nice shadow. Again, if you want to do the shadows in pen, you can. I've known some people that have done this activity and they have used a water-soluble pen. So they would draw the lines and textures on there for the shadow and then use the water brush to blend it together. And here is my finished sketch.